The damage was already done, even though she had no idea. Every camera had caught her in the act, exposing everything in real time. Before Claressa Shields even left Alicia Baumgardner yesterday, the internet was already on fire. Social media was flooded, Netflix had locked the footage, and MVP had taken control of the story. But the so-called Queen of Petty, thinking she pulled off the perfect move, was completely unaware of the reality. She believed everything was clean and flawless, but she was wrong. Welcome back. Don't forget to like and support the channel, because this is more than just a simple fight. This is the moment everything spiraled, her actions made headlines, and the corporate world quietly started rewriting the narrative. Let's break it down. This is where the chaos really began. Yesterday, MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, teamed up with Netflix for a massive combat sports event packed with flashing lights, big names, and front-row energy, drawing serious mainstream attention online. Among the spotlight moments was Alicia Baumgardner, the undefeated champion, calm and composed, fully aware that all eyes and cameras were locked on her. But then came an unexpected twist in the scene. Just a few steps behind, Claressa Shields appeared alongside Papoose, behaving, and this is putting it mildly, like uninvited entrants trying to force their way into a space already dominated by the main attraction. Hold up, let's put this into context, because without it, the situation looks very different. The argument being pushed is that the real controversy is something mainstream coverage doesn't fully highlight. Over a period of months, Claressa Shields has reportedly been very critical of MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, dismissing their roster, questioning their level of competition, and publicly downplaying their fighters across podcasts, live streams, and social media clips that are still widely circulated. That's why some people are pointing to a contradiction. If she truly considered MVP and its athletes far below her standard, then her presence at a major Netflix broadcast MVP event becomes difficult for some viewers to explain. To them, the situation highlights a clear irony between past commentary and current visibility on a high-profile stage tied to the very promotion being criticized. The version being pushed paints a very specific narrative, one that supporters say the public isn't fully seeing. According to that framing, Claressa Shields didn't show up at this MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, event for entertainment, for boxing appreciation, or for any interest in MMA culture. She was there with a much more personal focus. The claim is that she has long dismissed cage fighting and doesn't respect that space, yet her attention shifted the moment Alicia Baumgardner appeared nearby. From there, the story escalates. She allegedly pushed through the crowd, past event staff, and the entourage surrounding Alicia, getting uncomfortably close in a visibly heated state. In that moment, as described in the circulating accounts, she was heard repeatedly shouting, "I hate your mouth. I hate when you run your mouth." Before the situation unfolded further under the glare of cameras and the broader coverage tied to the Netflix broadcast event, the claim being circulated suggests a major conflict in timing and priorities involving Claressa Shields over a holiday weekend, where she was reportedly contractually scheduled for an Atlanta appearance tied to her own promotional and empowerment commitments, with fans allegedly expecting her presence after paying for tickets. Instead, it is said she did not attend that obligation and traveled to Manhattan, where she was present around a private family celebration honoring the mother of Papoose. From there, the narrative continues that she later appeared at a high-profile MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, event broadcast in partnership with Netflix roughly a day later, creating what supporters describe as a striking contrast between a missed professional commitment and a sudden appearance on a major global stage. The narrative being circulated frames the situation as intentional rather than accidental, claiming that Claressa Shields adjusted her movements to align with Alicia Baumgardner's presence during the MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, event broadcast with Netflix, suggesting a deliberate setup instead of coincidence. It also portrays Papoose as remaining passive in the background during the tense moment, observing without intervening. Overall, this version of events emphasizes calculated intent and surrounding reactions, presenting the situation as more strategic and emotionally charged than accidental. The narrative then shifts to claims about Papoose posting online that he had a fantastic evening watching combat sports alongside references to MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, and Netflix, which critics highlight as ironic given the earlier accusations and tensions being discussed. It further suggests they were treated as ordinary attendees rather than VIP guests, with no special spotlight during the event, while broadcast attention stayed focused on the main fighters and promotion, leaving them outside the central frame of the show. The narrative then suggests that Papoose responded by tagging the same broadcasters and platforms involved in the event, including Netflix and MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, which some interpret as an attempt to maintain visibility through social media commentary around a major broadcast moment. It further revisits the issue of seating and placement, arguing that prime camera positions at such events are part of a planned production strategy directed by executives and coordinators rather than random allocation. Within this framing, even a highly accomplished athlete like Claressa Shields is described as not being positioned in a featured spotlight role during the globally televised production, highlighting how event presentation decisions can shape public visibility regardless of reputation or achievements. The narrative argues that the MVP, Most Valuable Promotions, event broadcast on Netflix reflected deliberate production choices about who received attention and spotlight. It suggests that Claressa Shields was less centered in the broadcast focus compared to others, and interprets any resulting tension as a reaction to feeling visually or socially sidelined in a highly controlled media-driven environment. Recall when MVP released that corporate-style portrait showing all its contracted female athletes grouped together, fully branded, packaged, and officially approved, and then someone supposedly edited Claressa's image into that graphic, after which she casually reposted it as if she just happened to come across it online. That story didn't convince anyone then, and it doesn't hold up now. That wasn't just some harmless edit or entertainment piece. It looked far more like a calculated, attention-driven move from a professional athlete who clearly understands that the promotional agency she's tied to feels outdated, stagnant, and no longer capable of pushing her brand to the next level, because that's the deeper layer of this situation. Claressa is clearly bound by Salida Promotions, and everyone can see it. She knows it too. And every time she watches an MVP athlete take over Netflix, land major features, secure prime placement, attract influencers, and build real mainstream momentum, it eats away at her peace of mind because she feels stuck. Staying in one place while the very people she once criticized rise into the kind of icons everyone now wants to sign creates a very specific, toxic form of resentment. It clouds judgment, distorts decisions, and can even make someone believe that confronting a colleague at their own promotional event is a power move. But it isn't strength, it's exposure. Let me put the underlying issue into clearer terms, because this is the angle many media outlets seem reluctant to confront. Claressa Shields has built her entire professional identity around being the greatest, the undisputed standard, the top of her field. She has even made strong public statements, claiming that MVP talent should stop mentioning her, calling them bums, and positioning herself as operating on a higher level while placing others at the bottom. It's a bold, attention-grabbing stance, and one that certainly defines her brand. But that's where the contradiction emerges. True icons who genuinely exist at that supreme level don't usually feel the need to physically engage with or confront people they claim are beneath them. They don't typically show up at lower-tier events or place themselves in situations that seem inconsistent with the image of untouchable dominance they project. It is completely inappropriate for any public figure, no matter how accomplished, to confront another respected professional in a public setting and escalate a media dispute into a physical altercation, because in any professional field that kind of behavior would be treated as misconduct regardless of status or achievements. Awards and reputation should never be used as justification for aggressive or threatening actions. The conversations also extends to Papoose and his response, with questions being raised about how he handled the situation and the way he responded publicly afterward. Overall, it highlights concerns about accountability and how partners are expected to react when professional boundaries are clearly crossed in high-profile environments. Before incarceration, after incarceration, or during incarceration, the situation doesn't really change. When Remy is in a room, it's expected that anyone with her conducts themselves appropriately. It's hard to seriously believe that Papoose would have ever allowed Remy to approach someone in public and initiate a physical confrontation without intervening. Yet in this case, he appears to stand by while Claressa allegedly engages in that kind of behavior as if it were ordinary. From this perspective, it doesn't look like loyalty, it looks transactional. It suggests a man who has prioritized the financial and public benefits of his current position over past associations, even if it means accepting public criticism and compromising how he is perceived.